Hi, I'm Nicole Crane, and today I will be talking about what your attraction, or sometimes, um, as it turns out, your addiction to drama can teach you. So, the funny thing is that I wanted to speak on this about a week ago, and for whatever reason, it just wasn't coming through clearly. Um, and now I think that the reason for that is that. Originally, I just thought that it was an excuse or a side effect of needing to really up or maintain your self-care game. Um, but the funny thing is that I got a little bit more clarity around my own process of that. But first, to speak to upping your self-care game, um, especially, and I mean, this is a part of my personal journey as well, but um, especially when self-care is new to you, a lot of times we're not used to that. So that was a piece for me, is that my nervous system isn't used to not being super activated all the time. So having the calm, having the quiet of the mind brings up a lot of chatter, and sometimes I just want to get out of my head, right? So things like watching TV or eating junk food, or bickering with somebody who really knows how to push my buttons is really attractive, and that feels like more my natural state. And I feel like when you're really committed to creating experiences that are just really loving and really supportive for you, whether it's eating healthy foods, or reading books by authors that really uplift you, or listening to music that has the same effect, or exercising or dancing or singing, or whatever really activates your personal pleasure and your aliveness in your body, especially. Those things, when they're kind of part of your routine, kind of clear away that compulsive need and the addictive need to either activate yourself or distract yourself with drama. So a little bit of how this was showing up for me is this really fucked up need to play the villain. So this is kind of a long-standing thing that I've both played with in a curious, fun, experimental way, but also explored in a very shadowy, compulsive, I'm even going to say narcissistic kind of way, where it's a way that I feel that I'm able to exert control over people, whether it's manipulation or honestly, in the past, sometimes it's looked like abuse. So, I mean, part of the process of that is, one, taking accountability for when I fucked up and when I did wrong and when I hurt people or wronged people, and taking responsibility for that. And in some cases making amends, in some cases just letting that person move on with their life, and just doing better and forgiving myself, but also apologizing by learning from that experience and treating other people in the future with the same respect that I should have originally treated that person, and having that be my apology without having to contact them when that has felt more appropriate. So but in this more, I guess you could call it up-leveled version of playing the villain is when people demonize me and I choose to take that on. I'm like, oh, that wasn't me hurting you. Let me show you me hurting you. Or, engaging in those mind games and messing with people and intentionally pushing their buttons. So what I realized about that is that that is also an activated comfort zone for me. And so when I did a little self-coaching and I dug into what was lying under that need for activation and that power struggle that I was going through, what I found is that it was an excuse to punish myself because I don't deserve good things. And so I think a lot of us kind of fall into this at some point in self-discovery, or our spiritual awakening or whatever, where we feel unworthy, we feel like we haven't put in enough work or enough penance or whatever that looks like to really like achieve enlightenment or like to be able to bask in nirvana or whatever that looks like in your own personal belief system. And for mine, it really did look like I haven't finished punishing myself, so I can't allow myself to be successful at business, or I can't allow myself to earn the kind of money that I need to survive, or I can't be financially independent because that will mean that I'm alone. So a lot of these like fears are bubbling up to be embraced and looked at and loved and recognized and released. So I just wanted to speak to that a little bit. And kind of in support of my program Solo, which is starting the week of June 17th. I've spoken a little bit before about like the one-on-one coaching process and what I offer inside that package as far as the 2 coaching sessions that we do together live. And so if you haven't had a chance to watch those previous videos, we basically just assess where you're off balance. And I do have the application. Let me just see if I've got, sorry to click around. I'm just going to put the link in the comments. But so the cool thing about that is that there's an assessment. So it kind of goes through a bunch of different categories in your life where you might feel disempowered. And it kind of helps you assess where the biggest power leaks are. So here we go. So if you're interested in this program, putting the link here. But then the other 2 of the 4 weeks, the first week we're going to be working on emotional releases. So I feel like, especially after a breakup, a lot of what shows up is anger. So if this becomes a pre-recorded program at some point, it'll probably focus on that. But the beauty of a one-on-one container like this is that we really cater it to exactly what your needs are, where you find yourself right now. So that also might be like vulnerability in the manner where like you don't feel like it's safe to really open up, whether that's sexually, whether that's emotionally, whether that's intellectually. For whatever reason, you have up these walls of protection, which are actually harming your ability to connect with people, whether it's a partner or your family or coworkers, whatever that looks like. So we're going to transmute that anger into peace, or that vulnerability into safety or strength or trust of yourself. And then the other week, we're going to focus on sex magic, which we touch a little bit on in Breakup Bootcamp, but this is kind of like the masterclass level of sex magic, where I feel like it's so important in activating your like energetic body, especially if you're into like abundance or magnetism or manifestation, whatever that looks like to you. This will kind of supercharge that ability if that's what you're into. And if you're on a more, well, let's say if you're on a less material path and it's just about awareness of your energy or your body or your connection to the divine, it is so gorgeous for that too. So I'm really excited to start sharing this. In a couple days, I'm going to do a toy review, which I will only be doing in the Nicole Crane coaching group because it is going to be a sex toy review. And if I were to like give it like a clickbaity title, it's like, the results shocked me, but they did. So I'm sending you lots of love. I hope that your week is going great. I will see some of you at Pride this weekend, and take really good care of yourself right now. A lot of people I know are going through some tough times, and I just want to send you lots of love, and lots of support, and we'll talk soon. Bye.